Here we are, my friends, graduate show. And it's a big one today. And I'm going to try, it's weird. Let me just say there's things about this, I don't know. There has been a first several weeks of Dojo 2.0. We just had loads of graduates and I had theories about why that was. And then it feels like really there should only be about, I don't know, 4 to 8 graduates. You know, it's hard to graduate, dude. So anyways, last week we had 4 and I was like, oh yeah, this is what it's gonna be like. That gives me time to really go into everybody, yada, yada. Anyways, today we got 22, man. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Anyways, let's get into it. First up, we have Vasily Krachenbuhl. Now, dude has gained loads of points and has been a member for a month. When we look at their activity, they have not done much. And I don't understand. See, this is why we have 22. I don't understand this person. And I think they just graduated. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so let's go back. And then we have Colton Francis. All right, let's look. Activity. Colton is also not, he's done a little bit. He's done a little bit. Now you can see, so it's almost like, I don't know if this is a thing Jack can fix. They're like ghost graduations. I got some ghost graduations, man. I don't know. So there's things about that I don't understand. Now, normally I'd spend more time, but on the ones where I don't see a lot of work and I don't understand the graduation, I'm going to bypass, if you will. Let's look at D-Lely. D-Lely, you can see, by the way, when you graduate, now this is a true graduation here, by the way. This is a true graduation. Got 91 points of work, okay? You can see where they graduated from. And when you graduate, you can write something about maybe what you liked about the program, anything, any kind of feedback. It's a good opportunity. Maybe tell people what you think they needed to do. Let's read it. My Elite Chess Classic rating at the moment would justify a jump of a few cohorts up to 1200. I don't feel like I'm that good yet. I won 6 games in a row with a consistent progress, which makes me feel there actually was a progress and the level up is deserved. I'm not clear if the jump up is that big, so walk before I run. There's useful content to study and sweat work to do in the 800 to 900 cohort for sure. The single thing that helped me the most in achieving this happened in the last week or so. I went through the 10 last games I annotated, pasting the final comments in a doc, doing some very basic statistics on the reasons I lose games. Now, look, I'm not a grammar Nazi. I don't even care. But you gotta spell lose L-O-S-E. I don't know why this is there. You see this across the world, people writing L-O-O-S-E. Why I lose games. My main issues by far are 2. See, I don't care if he misspelled far there, but lose, that drives me insane. Can I hover over the text and get a better formatting of the text? There is a way, but it's tricky because it doesn't always work. See, it is true that there's sometimes you hover over it and there's a better formatting, but other times there is not. See, I don't know. So I don't know how to do it, boss. I know that sometimes when I hover over it, it works. Okay. My main issues by far are I don't do a proper CCT routine. Checks, captures, threats every move, and I often overlook defensive tactics. There is super clear evidence of this in my notes, super clear. So in the last days, I stopped doing anything else, just bit of tactics puzzles to keep me sharp. Just play and analyze, focusing on my thought process. CCT, dog. What is he trying to do? Is this safe? Just that. It helped a lot with an almost immediate improvement in results. Interestingly, the tactics book on this next level is about defensive tactics, which is exactly what I need now. Anyway, when I follow a better thought process, I focus on what he would do next. I get in trouble for that gender stuff too, buddy. Watch it. You're going to get caught. I do. Okay, good. Good note. Let's click on dude and see what's going on here. All right. So this is their past cohort. They've already graduated. Now that's some good work right there. That's some good work. I like this time breakdown too, with the games and analysis. Let's click on the tactics. Ah, beautiful, dude. A little bit of everything. Yeah. No, great. Great. Let's click on endgames. Beautiful. Oh, I'm loving this. This is making me happy here. All right, we'll click on games and analysis. Really well done, dude. Okay. Okay. Let's go take a look at this person's games. They've got some 13 games in here. This is the good work. This is the good work. Let's click on this one. Bap. Okay, the last game I played before graduating to 8,900. And he's talking about slowing down. Good. Fine. Now, we can argue about e3 because it blocks your bishop, but it can't be that bad. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say anything as long as dude is developing. As long as dude is developing, down there I'm going to say something. Actually, let's go back. We're looking at it from black's perspective. So basically, he's criticizing h3 as well. He should. Castles, c4. And now we need to make a judgment call. I think rook e8 is okay as long as we play for e5 later. c5, not a great move. And you know what is a great move? Bam! That's a great move. It opens a highway towards the white king. That's right, dude. Prepares removing knight f3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. By the way, this is a standard break especially when white releases the tension in the center, right? There's no pressure on d5 anymore. So this is a very nice break. And great that we're doing the annotation because you will get this again, for sure. And it's cool to see the problems that white is now under, right? b4, b5. I don't like that move. I don't like that move, boss. You just told me you were going to play e4 and go mate the guy. It's time to go mate him, dude. It's time to go mate him. What are we doing, b5? What are we doing? Now the guy could play a4 and it might become a little bit inconvenient after a4. Poor move. Not great. Okay. Yeah. Good move. c5. Removing the defender. Now, it seems like you could, at the very minimum, win a pawn. Oh, no. c5 is a genius move, boss. Genius move. Attacking the queen, but this is a CCT error. There's one. Now, to be fair, the dude's toast. The dude's toast. Actually, you've got it. Here, look. Look what you did. Pop, pop, pop. Beautiful. Now, one thing we should say is it would be interesting for us to know if you had calculated this prior. And then even here, we should go a little bit deeper. We should say pop. And then the bummer for dude is if I go pop, pop, there's a threat on the knight, and this is a brutal mate threat. Could white throw in this move? Good question. Good question. Queen e7. Maybe he takes. Oh, no. Maybe he takes. But look, bam, I'm pinning it. I'm pinning. Pin and win. Let's go, baby. So, good notes. It would be cool to carry it forward. One of the things I really want to stress is the tactics are happening at this, like in your games. Yes, tactics trainer at school. Yes, this and that. But in your games is when it really happens. Really cool, though, by the way, especially for somebody in the under 1,000 cohort, that you saw that this was the resource. Okay. Now, you say it's at a cost of a knight. It's not clear, though, that it is because of this variation. Pop, maybe you missed that, the intermezzo, right? Still not clear. I love your position, but I just don't know if it's, I don't think it's at a cost of a knight. Check to the miserable king. There it is, my friends. Yeah. Dude, Polgar mates, you know, principal chess, there we go. Let me say one quick thing that can be fixed in terms of the way you played this. Okay, your opponent's going to do at this level below 1,000. They're going to do a lot of funky stuff like H3. They're going to play stuff like C5. They're going to play moves that don't develop like B4, right? And I just want to say this, try not to play moves like B5, not developing moves. You're the one that already opened this beautiful bishop. It's open. It's ready to go, right? So try to make your developing moves without the pawn moves, because you don't need to anymore. You're absolutely right. The party is ready to start. We're gonna play to mate this dude. Okay, beautiful. That was a good graduation. All right, so that was D. Lally. Let's go back to, I gotta go old cohort. There's D. Lally. And now we have Richard ZT. Richard ZT has graduated several times. Great program, would recommend to anyone. Both principles and practical choices by senseis. Are you going to get mad? It's the wrong principle. Come on, Kraai. I had a rough day, my friends. I had to deal with, my internet might go bad in a half a second, and apparently my modem is toast. Why is my modem toast? I don't know. Anyway, it's been a rough day, and now I'm complaining about grammar. Okay, this cohort was very different for me than the last two I graduated through. This will be interesting for me. The last few were very focused on playing long games, basic tactics, and practicing analyzing. This cohort changed the training up with more of a focus on A, sparring, B, trying out the harder tactics for my level, FCW3, First Chess Workbook, and playing my long games in person at the club. Now let me just say, what's changed actually is more Richard's approach, because that is definitely part of the program below, but it's great that basically in this cohort, Richard has expanded what he was doing before. I felt improvement came very, very quickly at this cohort with the sparring and the harder tactics. I think the 5-5 games in the exact same positions over and over forced my mind to adapt and notice some basic blunders/patterns much faster intuitively, while the harder tactics forced me to chunk a few basic calculations that might have been too clunky for me in the past. I can now see that certain annotated games make more sense, which is rewarding. My sense is that for the next few cohorts, I need to get back to long games, annotations, harder tactics. Brilliant, dude. Brilliant. Okay, let's click on Richard ZT. Let's go activity. And this is their current cohort, so we're going to look at the one before. And dude did a lot of tactics. Now this white is the non-dojo. Let's see what shame he's got. What kind of shame does he's got? Listen to some podcasts, that's fine. Some YouTube, fine, okay. A little bit of rapid, fine. Okay, now I think rapid might be code for blitz. I don't know. Dude has done a bunch of tactics. Let's see what it did. Brilliant, great. Did some game analysis. Let's go check out the game analysis. Not there yet. Okay. Richard, if you're watching this thing, boss, put some games up. Put some games up. All right. Really well done. So, that was Richard. And now we got J.S. Nitch, who has also been a graduate on this show before. I started the dojo a bit underrated, but I wanted to get the most out of the dojo task as I start to get closer to my actual rating. I'm anticipating the work to get a little harder and a little more serious. Something I look forward to. I recommend anyone coming into the dojo to start at a slightly lower band than their rating. People, trust the program. When I say trust the program, this is what I mean. Some people get overly ambitious and put themselves in a higher cohort, i.e. they're flattering themselves to be like, oh, bows. I am already there, man. I'm already there, even though my rating isn't. That's a problem, not only for yourself, but also the people you're sparring with. And then likewise, don't go to a lower band. It's going to be hard enough. Just go to the band that the dojo directs you to. Trust me. Trust me. So the other kind of person, though, is the one that says, oh, I want to do the stuff to like build myself up, right? I get the mentality. It's going to be hard enough where you are. You will get the fundamentals. You will get them. Okay, let's click on JS Niche. Maybe a photographer, just by the name. Great progress. Look at that, 158 points. Lots of tactics. I guess what this means is we're not expecting. Actually, wait, go click down one. That we do. So I always click down one because the work they did to get into the cohort is obviously, from the last one. The work they did in the last cohort to get to where they presently are. Looks pretty good, dude. Let's click on this. All right, so we're expecting an annotated game. And not everyone puts their time in. It's tactics time. Polgar mates, you can see all the stuff they're doing here. Okay, good. Let's see if we got some games. We got a lot of games. Right, JS Niche is Jason Nicholson. Let's look. General narrative of the game. White puts up a decent fight against a stronger opponent. Oh yeah, look at that rating difference. Black's aggressive attack causes White to misjudge the threat level and makes faulty protective moves. Do you see this, my friend? That is the correct way to spell lose. He didn't say to lose the game. He said to lose the game. All right, here we go. Pop. Everyone's playing good so far. E3 is a little weird. It's okay, though. A decisive moment. I'm not really thrilled about having moved the bishop twice, although it's not a loss of tempo. It could be, however, because with bishop b7 coming, the attack on f3 is imminent. Okay. I think, right, if you bring it back, then it'll be a loss of tempo. I think what you did is fine. I'm not going to yell at you if you play a developing move. Bishop b7. And now this move is a little funky. Okay. So it's funky for two reasons. First of all, I'm just happy you're developing. But it's funky for two reasons. One, I'm not thrilled about letting him whack our knight and damage our king structure. Two, when you put the queen here, we're worried about the queen getting attacked, losing time on the c file. So what's the more natural move? Queen e2, boss. Play queen e2, play rook d1. Try to get your bishop out at some point, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Queen c2. Pop. And then dude writes, this has to be a bad move. I'm with you. It's a loss of tempo. It's a response based on what appears to be a false threat. And it ignores what was an important move to eventually get in, namely e4, something I'd already planned. Okay, good. Now, one thing you should say is what would have been a better move. And I think, let me take and then put your queen back. Put him back where he's supposed to be. Okay, but by the way, you're not toast yet. Okay, good move. Now, here's an interesting question. What is controversial about c takes d4? The controversy of cd4 is black is helping you. And maybe, I'm not saying cd4 was a terrible move, but it's important to see that, oh, this was my chance, boss, to get my bishop out. Right? So, some people, being confused as to the fact that pawns are people, will play knight takes d4 because they're like, oh man, I don't want to deal with that isolated pawn. But then your bishop's hosed, bro. Then your bishop's hosed, dog. Okay, so when we look at this position, for example, we know that black has to be doing great because you got to play e4 at some point, and then that bishop is looking funky. The pawn on e4 would be looking funky. The terrible thing about this move is more what I didn't see. For some reason, rook c4 attacking the queen again and threatening to invade, followed by knight b5, never occurred to me. Okay, now I do want to say I don't think rook d1 is terrible, because rook c4 might look fancy, but let's say the queen goes back. The rook is exposed on this square, right? It's exposed. So it's not, and it's not actually easy to mess with him. Like knight b5, you can play a6, and I don't think you're getting at that square. The main problem is you got to get this guy out somehow. Want to stress, you're only marginally worse here. You are not toast. Here, now this scares me. This scares me, because now you got to deal with the queen c6 stuff. Right. Okay, so h3 would have been better. And you write that. Good. Pop. F3. And you write about e4. Very good. Very good. And you got a great tactic here. Look at this tactic. Beautiful. Now, can we just say, though, that you got to play queen takes. You got to play queen takes. I know it's the same idea. Now, it's got to be said, after e4, you are still in big trouble. Okay? But, for example, bishop e5 is probably going to, well, the game's going to go on, but black is better. In any case, you should, what's nice about your note is you're saying knight e4 isn't possible. A deeper note might suggest what black should play and what the eval should be. Knight a4. Pat! Yep, bows. Yep. Okay. Now, let's just say you're playing some strong opponent. And we play king g2. We have reasonable chances to hold this thing. And bishop c5, I don't know if it's that great of a move, honestly, because it got in the way of the stuff on the c file. So this position still got a little bit of life left. Black has a little work to do, is what I'm trying to say. Not over yet. Okay. Yeah, and we agreed to a draw. Wait, I was about to give up on this game. What happened here? I considered resigning, but wanted to see if I could trap the queen. It's a long shot. Pop. d3. Now the queen is safe. Now he's going to resign. Okay. And we agreed to a draw. What? What do you mean? I think you mean you resigned. I think you resigned. It's because it's 0-1. It's got to be the case. Okay, good game. And one of the things that I'm gonna say, we've seen this over and over again, in the games below 1,000, it is almost always decided. Just 99%. Somebody blundering, something like that. Okay? And so the key difference with you and this guy is, yes, there was some positional stuff, but you're absolutely right that hanging stuff is where you're getting destroyed. Okay? All right, good. I'm hoping to see more of JS Niche coming up soon. All right, here we go. That's Richard ZT. And now we got Pixari. Let's check out Pixari. 18 points, activity. See, this might be one of those ones that I'm not sure about. No game. So yeah, I'm gonna breeze past these ones, just because I don't know what to do with them. Maybe Jack can help me out. Like, Baus, let me tell you what's going on. All right, Ant Curious. Still coming to grips with it all. Looks good so far. Should have something useful to say later. Okay, let's click. Poop, poop. Also, somebody who just maybe started, I don't know. If we go ratings. So, I don't know. I don't know. Dad of 3, convinced more sleep is worth 100 ELO. Okay, I agree with that one. It's funny, man. I don't know why I shared this, but I was at a party on Saturday, and I don't even drink hardly at all. I don't do any drugs, but I was at this party and I had one hit of weed, dude. One hit of weed. I tried to study the next morning, dude. Nothing. I was doing these chess problems. I got every single one wrong. All of them. All of the problems wrong, my friend. I got a hydrate redemption. All right, let's do a hydrate redemption. All right, so that was Ant Curious. Looking forward to seeing more of Ant Curious. Okay. Okay, now we have Pituro. I have a feeling this is also like a ghost one. They've lost 1,100. What? I don't know. No puedo understand. No Nintendo. Uh-oh. Now I really blew it. Recent graduates. What? There we go. Okay, so that's a no Nintendo. But here we got John Mack. It says, switching to 60-minute games. Even after playing just one or two, I started using the full 30 minutes in my rapid games. I'm instantly playing better already. Beautiful. Now, one of the things that caused headache and confusion, protest, mobilization, was having looked at a lot of these games where people are importing the times they have used from their Lichess games because they're playing on Lichess, and then Jack has set it up so when you import it into the dojo, we can see exactly the time usage. It became obvious that the people who were, especially in the lower cohorts, were not using their time at all. At all. So we instituted a new regulation, and we say you have to use half of your base time because we have different time controls depending on which cohort you were in. So for example, let's say you're playing a 60-minute plus 30 game, you have to use at least 30 minutes. And yes, your rating will go up. It's not just in that game, by the way. It's that you will be engaging the System 2 thinking that will help you develop your game. So I'm grateful that we have this comment because, the protests. Oh, the protests. Kraai, what do you mean I have to use half my time? What if I win instantly, Kraai? What then? That was this kind of protest killing me, Bows. That's right. Here we go. John Mack, adult learner, 1400 chess.com, competitive strongman. Oh, interesting. Looking to move into chess as my main hobby. Cool. I was talking to a strong woman yesterday at my gym. That chick was big, dude. She could lift some things, dude. She could lift some things. Some things. Here we go. So, 1,200. Did 21 of work. Books, non-dojo books. Okay. And then games and analysis. So one of the nice things is, I think this would be the case for mine as well, is like I'm spending so much time analyzing my own games that, it's probably, this breakdown is probably larger than the actual total points. If you get somebody who has a lot of points here, but not so much time spent, they're probably not spending that much time analyzing their games. Okay, this looks pretty good. It's not that much. Usually when it's not that much, it means that John Mack is probably going to graduate to the next one soon after this. Let's see if we can find a game from John Mack. Boom, we got a couple. Let's check it out. Let's flip the board. Here we go. Fancy opening. Now, just in terms of annotations, I would appreciate a question mark to knight takes c6, right? Because this pawn is useful, especially if this knight ever comes here. It will take care of that knight's squares. Good move. Good move. Terrible move. So these moves we want to do some annotations too, okay? Just to say what we think. So now, at a GM level, we might say this is over. Like, this is so good for black, we might call it over. It might be a little rich, Kraai. I know, might be a little rich to call it over here, but I'm just saying, it's not a good situazione for the white pieces. All right, queen b6. In spirit, I like this move. The question would be about knight a4. What would we do on knight a4? I think there's good news on knight a4. On knight a4, I believe that this could hurt. Might not be over because of that move. But I'll tell you what, this ain't it. This one, we got a typical dragon thing. This square should be toast fairly soon. Let's play rook b8, Kavutskiy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. b3. Now, it is not time to play bishop e6 because we don't know what the bishop's going there. But here's an interesting thing. Listen to what dude says. Last developing move, wanted to get my bishop to the middle of the board and ready for my rooks to connect. The instinct is totally reasonable. Right? The instinct is reasonable. And if we don't play bishop e6, then we should castle. The problem with bishop e6, and really the problem for both bishops, the white one too, neither one knows exactly what's going on. In terms of games analysis, if you have a sense that this position is so massive, which at least I do, I feel like those dark squares are toast for the dude, then it's time to look to end them. And I found a nice variation, at least one I like. Check this one out. We go queen a5. We're touching some coconuts. If he walks into the pin, we're just going to say bows. You ain't going to make it. You ain't going to make it, bows. So the only move to worry about would be knight a4. And now we got one of two moves. First, we can do the lamo. Let me show you the lamo. Check to the miserable queen. f4. Snippo tippo. Crippo manippo with a winning endgame. Okay. But then also you ask yourself, bam! Can I do it? I don't know. Bam! Is it too fancy? I don't know. Maybe it's too fancy. We can get the queen back, but the other one probably is better, huh? Anyways, it was time to end this dude's life. Bishop e6. Now, maybe he's toast anyway, but he should definitely play knight a4 right now. There he goes. Queen d4. I suspect you missed c3. Now, notice, c3, a couple things are happening. One, your bishop on e6 is no longer hitting a rock. And he is, though, controlling some dark squares, which he desperately needs. Queen e5. f4. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe f4 for him. Bam. We're going to slide on over, baby. Bam. Queen a5. Oof. My initial gut reaction was to accept the trade. Now, let me just say, c4, it might feel annoying to you because this dude is, trying to get trades on us and stuff. But, he's pressing his luck. He's open the kimono. You don't want to be opening the kimono. Can we just say, you should have castled, bows? Here we go, queen c7, f5. He's just giving you the dark squares. Just giving them to you. Maybe we won't castle now with our rook out. Now, I like what you're saying. I don't want to say this move cost white the game, but I think it ruined any attack he had on the king's side. At the very minimum, he opened up the beast of a rook there. d5. I don't know, bows. I don't know about that one, dude. I don't know. This is a good one for us to start thinking about for tactics. For example, I think a clever move might be rook h5. That would threaten bishop g5 and introduce the possibility of swinging the dude over, right? Because we need to get everybody involved. And we should believe that we're winning this position because our bishop is so strong. This one, though, scares me because you're inviting the rook in. You're going to open this Kostya up. And this dude just whacks you. He's like, dude, I want to whack you here, son. He doesn't care, man. He's like, screw it. I don't care. Now, it's kind of, I want to say, I don't know if it's a good move. He's still in trouble, honestly. But It is a GM level thing to do, to just whack a good bishop like that, you know. Knight c5 looks like a human move. Check to the miserable king. Oh, that hurt. I'm going to just tuck him away. There we go, bows. That's a good move. That's a simple enough move. Oh, baby. John Mack, you're pulling it together, dude. That was some good tactics to finish it off. So I'm pumped for John Mack, dude. Let's go back just a second. So, progress ratings. Gained some. I'm pumped. I like this competitive strongman thing, looking to move into chess as my main hobby. Friend of the dojo is a guy on Twitter named Strong Chess. That dude's lifting some heavy things, dude. Heavy things. So there's a lot of people actually who are doing like weight training. I don't know if I'm doing weight training. I would lift some weights, but I'm not like, serious or anything like that, Okay, that's John Mack. Beautiful. All right, John Mack. And now we're going to get Mickey. I feel it is too early to accredit the Chess Dojo with my graduation. Give us the credit! I put in my ECF rating and it just said I've graduated. Looking forward to working at my rating through Chess Dojo, although I haven't a clue what I'm doing at the moment. It seems more complicated than I was a member in 2022. Now, let me just say, it is the proud hope of the dojo that it is significantly easier than it was in 2022. Oh man, we had Dojo 1.0. You had to learn how to do all kinds of things. Hopefully now it's a little bit easier. For example, I used to have, when I did this graduation show, I would have like the old Google Doc, and then I would have other sites and things going around, game viewers and stuff. Here it's all on one site, right? I go up, if I scroll up here, you go up here, I got the profile, the scoreboard, I got it all, baby. I got it all. We got it all. Mickey, let's check out what's going on. Activity. No, nothing. Well, Mickey, you can't give the dojo credit because you haven't done anything yet, Bows. A 65-year-old British male struggling to improve my chess. Now, I have a feeling what Mickey is saying, it's like me, he's an older dude, and it's not tech friendly. I just about lost it trying to figure out what was going on with my internet. And Kostya about lost it trying to deal with me, dealing with why my internet would sometimes cut out. Some weighted pieces. Now let me tell you my pun here that I really like. Vishy and I posted this on Twitter the other day. I really love. He says, I'm a pawn star. Pawn not intended. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. You loved it. Don't pretend you didn't love it, dude. Don't pretend you didn't love it, because that was pretty good. All right, let's go to the next 12 here. Oh, what happened? Those featured games. No, wrong one, buddy. You blew it. Oh, no. Okay, go back, Bows. Go back. You blew it. Whew. All right, there's our recent graduates. And I think we've ordered them correctamundo. And now we're going to go next. And now it's showing me featured games, which is not good. But, oh, there we go. Okay, this is Quad XE, who I think is in the chat. Chess Von Doom's in the chat. Now, I was thinking about this. A lot of people ask me, Kraai, how come you're not following the Women's World Championship? Well, the thing is, there's a lot of things competing for my attention. I got my own study. That's the most important thing to me. But then I ask myself, well, who am I actually interested in as a fan? In terms of women's chess, there's a woman here who's actually covering it. Her name's Sam. She's in the training program. I'm a fan of hers. I want to see her do well. I'm more interested in her crushing it than I am people on the other side of the world playing a Women's World Championship. A lot of the terms being played now. Not that interested. I'll tell you who I'm interested in. Chess Von Doom. Is that dude going to start crushing it? Good question. Another person I'm interested in. Kostya Kos. Bows. Time is running out. It's time for you to get serious. Stop getting distracted. Time for you to become a GM. Bows. Okay. All right, this is Quad XC. I was struggling to get above 1300 when I found the dojo, and now I'm just laughing at 400 and their timid, superficial plans and little tricks. There we go. I like that. My big weak point was the tactics. So I have not only spent a ridiculous amount of time, but actually a completely obscene amount of time on tactics. I don't even want to admit how much time. People would think I was insane. But in effect, that is definitely not my biggest problem anymore. Also, I think I have endgame as one of my strong points for a 14 to 1500 player. An advantage I can build on. Also, just because I really like endgames. 2.0 scoreboard is so beautiful and completely addictive. That's what we're talking about. I love the overview and the option to track time and assignments progress. So improvements. Okay. Show what continent people live on. I agree. Totally agree. On the scoreboard. Would help tremendously when finding sparring partners. You hear it? Jack, listen to that. Listen to him. 2, that you could annotate directly on the dojo page, maybe even play games. I hear you. Yeah. You don't want, let me just tell you guys something about Jack, dude. Like, you give him like something like that. Say, like, Jack, hey, can we play some games? Honestly, it seems that's like a big ask. You know, you can imagine that would require servers and all kinds of stuff. But dude, a lot of times you say something crazy like that to Jack, and like the next morning he shows up and it's done, dude. Like when you say the scoreboard is addictive, that dude got it done. Okay, 3. Maybe even some dojo arena blitz events where you guys live commentate. Could be fun. 1, the continuous improvement. You guys make ChessCom look like standing still. That's right, buddy. Particularly the improvement on openings and sparring positions in the materials section is so nice. Beautiful, dude. Okay, so here we go. This is Quad XC. Boom. Now, Quad XC, you got to say what continent you are on, buddy. You got to start the trend, Bows. What continent are you on? There we go. Did you put loose in there instead of lose? Man, that's the one that drives me insane, dude. That's the insane one. All right. Now, dude says his openings are his biggest weakness. I'm gonna probably call BS. We're gonna see some of his games here. Now, first of all, let's look at the time. 26 hours. Now, perhaps that's the new one. Let's look at the old one. 198 hours, Bows. That's right. That's right. So he didn't want me to embarrass him, and I embarrassed him anyway. Honestly, I think it's great. I think my hours are pretty up there too, dude. Yeah. All right, let's see what non-dojo stuff he's doing. Whoa, look at that, dude. So, a little bit of blitz. Where's the blitz? This one. Whole bunch of tactics, i.e. non-dojo tactics. Practicing endgame fundamentals. Okay, this is not anything to be ashamed of here. This is good. And we have some game analysis. We're going to say that's the one you need the most on. And I had a prediction earlier. I said if this was a smaller percentage than this, that maybe you need to spend more time on the game analysis. We're about to take a look at some of your analysis. Okay, but otherwise this looks pretty good. Endgame, dude likes the endgame. That's fine. That's great. Tactics, boom. Mate in 2s. Done 1,000 of them. This is what I'm talking about, Bows. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, boom. And you can see what dude is doing here. Great. All right. Let's go take a look at the ratings just for a second. So 171 point jump. Fantastic. All right. Quad XC. This was done fairly recently. Let's take a look. Random opponent. Oh, wait. I want to just, if it's 30-0, we'll have to deal with it. But let's just see if we find a different one that's not 30-0. It's a 5-3 blitz game, Bows. Hey, Quad XC, we know where it's not openings ain't your problem, son. What time control is this? Well, this is also 30 minutes. We know Quad XC, buddy. You got the time. You can play a longer game, bud. These are all 30-minute games. What's the problem with doing a 30-minute game? You're not thinking long enough to even do good annotations about those. Come on, Quad. Hold on, I'm just looking for one that maybe not 30 minutes. They're all 30-minute games. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're playing a 30-minute game and there's a tactical, messy situation, critical position has arisen. Can you think for 10 minutes? If you do, that's a third of your time. Oh, buddy. And can you really immerse yourself in a position? I mean, you don't need 5-10 minutes to really get into it, you know? And especially if you play chumps on the internet, they're just going to be playing instantly. You know, you play a 30-minute game against chumps on the internet, and they're either cheating or they're distracted, and so they're just going to play the first thing that comes to their mind, right? I'm going to click one more. Boom. 30-minute game. All right. So here we go. Pop, pop. Are the Polgar mates on the dojo site itself? No. Just down my alley. Boom. Prophylactic highfalutin move. Sorry, Jesse. Okay. So what's happening with A4? You're terrified of B5 and unnecessary, right? But I understand the fear, so I'm actually not going to yell at you too much. To give you a sense, though, let's say you play the lame-o E3. You can do a bunch of different moves here, but just to show you that A4 is unnecessary. Excuse me. Pop, 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 pop. You break him down, bows. Check to the miserable king. You know, something like this. Break him down, bows. You got better development. Look at that rook on A1. Developed. Okay? But I'm glad you recognized your guilt right there. You were like, prophylactic, highfalutin move. Even if you couldn't spell it, you knew what we were talking about. So here we go. E3. Going to get it back. Boom. Okay. Fine. I like what you did. Okay, as long as you're developing, I'm not going to complain. So I want to stress, you said the openings were your problem. The biggest fix is when you have a move like A4 come into your mind, just say, bows. Is there a way that I can avoid doing this? Okay. Yeah. Notice what you did. The last series of moves, fine. Fine. All right. Let's think about this. First, let's read what you said, then we'll think about it. I took a little think here just to be sure everything checked out and no bad surprises at the end of the exchanges. I'm happy to take and dissolve black's advance and see if I can get a pawn up or a favorable pawn structure here when all is said and done. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Knight e4 is a mistake for several reasons. 1, it's moving a developed piece twice. 2, your bishop on d2 is your worst piece. So it's going to unmask that thing and talk to the bishop on b4, right? So you're doing great. Good, dude. You're just developing and doing a little more. Fine. Okay, fine. You're unmasking the rook. Okay. And now you can win a pawn. Let's see if you did it. There you go, boss. Chess is an easy game. Chess is an easy game against the chumps, right? It's an easy game when you're playing chumps all the time. Okay. Let's see how this goes here. That wasn't it. So we want a question mark against the rook c8. By the way, once you start playing longer games, they might play different moves. It's funny, we don't have... I was convinced this was a 30-minute game, but we're not seeing the times here. Boom. Yeah. Great, dude. And honestly, at this level where you're at, taking the pieces, that's what it's about. Okay, fine. Good moves. Good moves. That wasn't it. Notice, too, they get frustrated. They weaken themselves like this. It happens all the time. Okay, I like queen e5, but it's fine. Fine. Good move. Good move, dude. Look at this. Oh, beautiful. Oh, Entracio. Maybe a little Entracio. Check to the miserable king. That's it. All right, good, dude. Good. I'm pumped to see Quad XC's progress here. Yeah. Nice. I'm into it. Okay. So that was quad XC. Let's go pop. It's complicated here now. Why is it complicated? Because I gotta scroll up, Kraai, up. All right, Zach on track. That's a great name. I have been progressing quickly by using visualization training and tactics. Let's check it out. Zach on track. We got activity. Let's look at the old cohort. Not that much. So, some games and analysis. Let's see if we got some. No. Activity. Boom. So, not a lot has been done in the program. And so, there's graduations I understand, and other ones I don't. Zach on tracks I don't entirely understand. Okay. Nose Knows All was in actually a couple podcasts, but I haven't finished it yet, but I was listening to the Skull podcast. It was pretty interesting to hear Nose Knows All's story. You guys should check it out. All right. Now, again, it's a little hard because it always takes me back to this one instead of the other one. I might have a trick to fix it. Here's Swifty. All right. Swifty's got 56 points. Whoa, look at that. I haven't seen it like that, dude. I haven't seen that kind of color. No. It's all endgame, boss. What are we talking about? Dude is just going hardcore onto the endgame. Now what happens if I go back to this one? Endgame. Wow, okay. Silman. Nice. Okay, I'm all in. I'm all in. If you want to focus on the end game right now and just do leg day every day, fine. If you were doing openings all the time, I'd say no bows. But this is the real deal. Will you eventually crawl out of your end game hole? I'm sure you will, dude. But it'll be like that scene in the Quentin Tarantino movies, man, where they go to the sensei to train. You come out of that end game training, you're just going to be hurting people, man. Just hurting them. Okay. So, cool. Swifty. We got a game. No. Because dude's been doing endgame. All right, we're going to be following Swifty. So this is we've had 2 endgame aficionados here. This one's pretty good. Now, let's see my trick here. Now, I'm going to list it by the old cohort. We're just going to switch it and see what happens. No put to work. There we go. Good. So I basically reversed the list, I think. And Stan, dude. He's graduated 1,000 times. Let's read. So the last weeks I've worked a lot on my chess and managed to bounce my chess comm back up. I feel at the moment the potential for the easiest gains still lies in things like calculating a few moves ahead and looking at the whole board instead of focusing too much on one area, missing opportunities because of sticking to a multi-move plan too much. At the same time, I try to invest a bit of time to learn basic plans for play in the openings that I get out of the open. Beautiful, dude. Let me stress about the opening. Playing it, annotating those games, and then sparring what should be some critical positions in the dojo training program, in the material we have. I'll show that later. We tell you exactly in our opening repertoires which positions you're going to get all the time and which you should develop a feel for. That's when you will become dangerous, not only at this level, but even at a GM level. But especially here, it's not going to be about analyzing things super deep because your opponents are going to do weird things. It's about having a sense of the position. All right, now Stan has graduated a bunch of times. Let's click on Stan. Boom. Stan is crushing it, obviously. Obviously, Stan is crushing it. 296. ChessComm Rapid. Okay, here we go. That's some real jump. All right, activity. Let's go with the previous one. Boom. And then we got tactics, a little bit of game analysis. And then, beautiful. Okay, I'm into this. This is good, dude. This is a good looking one. Let's click. Boom. Polgar mates in 2. 1475. Very good. Very good. That's what I like to see. Endgame. Pop. Silman endgame. Fine. Oh, there it is, Bows. There it is. Reading some good chess culture now. Okay, Stan is bringing it. I almost called him Stan the Man. Here we go. Let's see. I know I've looked at some of Stan's games before. Let's look. Now, let's see here. So Stan has a bunch of older games. Look at that. This is kind of recent. Let's check this one out. So here we're going to see one, maybe it was an hour plus something. In any case, at least an hour. Both sides, I'm sure probably 1:30 because the times are going up here. DC5, this is part of the Dojo training program. E6, B4. And the thing, at least in the aggressive repertoire, is played knight f3, drunken knight, bishop d3, castles, and you have a fine attacking structure. B4 is not correct, Mundo, for the same reason, actually, that we showed in the last variation with reverse colors, that a5 and b6 is going to knock you down with your pawn structure. So, for example, c3, pop, 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 and black, I guess we're going to say black gets an advantage here because they're going to get their stuff back and they're developing their junk over here. Okay, so bishop a3, definitely a weird move. That's a poor move. Yeah. By the way, Stan is black. Criticizing the wrong person, buddy. Criticizing the wrong person, bud. And knight c6 is not it, though. Because, well, let me just say, life would be really easy here. Because we're going to win that pawn back. That's all I know for sure. Now, could the dude have played b5? Should have tried it anyway. That wasn't it. And then now it wasn't it, but it is at least an interesting question about what black should play now. I think you're right. Bishop takes c6 is very nice. And then the French bishop will have the potential to get really angry with a move like bishop b5. And correct, b5 would have been annoying. And then also incorrect, because now b5, c6 would have hurt you. Dude misses it. And now we got a b4. That ain't it. Now we're touching the bishop on a3. What? Oh, man. Now look, people talking about the bishop pair all the time. I see people in love with the bishop pair. Bouse, not only are you winning a pound, it's gone. It's all the way gone. Man. Now it is true that you have a nice position here. Now, is this true? Let's consider the truthiness of this proposal. Okay. Well, we definitely want to examine bishop f1. But okay, bishop b4. Thank you very much. That's not it. That's weird. Okay. Wait, why didn't we take it, Bows? We're worried about check? I don't know where that knight's going. Rook b2. There we go, baby. Trade. Well, you can do it that way, too. I would have traded queens just because I'm a... There you go. They're good moves here, by the way. Good moves. Yeah. Thank you very much. Dude's got not that much time. He's finishing it off pretty well, though. Stan the man's doing it. That wasn't it, right? Okay, great. Stan, you're making progress. All right, I got to make a quick potty break, just the way it's got to be. Now, that's Stan. Pop, pop. The coming graduates. Oh, man. Okay, I got to go this way. Pop. There we go. So, next up is 4-1. I got to take a quick pause. Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the club is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Aragaisi. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hack, and
Mouse.
he got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvork, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't.
No. This one bows. Here we go. That was Stan. Now we're going to do 4-1. Let's click on 4-1. Now, I don't know. Let's see. Activity. No, this is a ghost. This is a ghosting. This is a ghosting. Okay. So I don't know what's going on with 4-1. I don't understand. So pump. And I click this way. And now we're going to go Dawson, Boyd. Tactics, then everything else. Okay. Let's look. Adult learner playing chess poorly with the intention of playing less poorly in the future. Okay. Now, preferred is Lee Chess. 361 points gained. That's kind of serious, dude. That's kind of serious. Okay. Activity. Now, it actually says endgames. It actually says endgames in terms of the score. Maybe some non-dojo stuff. Doing some Twitch, some podcasts, that kind of stuff. That's fine. Now, we're going to look tactics. Puzzle Rush. Polgar mates do. We're still doing it. But in the non-dojo work. Yeah. So, it's good to know that in terms of points, dude is doing a lot of end games and not just tactics. Don't skip leg day. There we go. All right, let's see if dude's got a game. Dawson. No. Dawson might not be a dude, by the way. I blow that all the time. I think Dawson might be one. I'm not sure. Okay, so I have a vague memory of talking to a woman named Dawson, and I think she was even like, dude, why are you calling everyone dude? And I'm like, I'm really trying. We're going to do a Dojo Talks, actually, about gender at some point, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that's kind of like, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on kind of subconsciously in the chess world that there's like, you talk to men and a lot of them are like, oh, there's no gender problem in chess. They don't feel it. And then it's only when they're kind of forced to dig deeper. For me, the obvious one where it's like obviously a cause for self-reflection is when I refer to every person as a he. And sometimes it's hard because you get like these names. A lot of times I'm like talking about somebody and their handle is Gook 00753, and I don't know. I don't know if Gook 7753 is a woman or not. Anyways, So I do this default thing, and of course it's weird that I do it, and I try to break the habit, and I like do it some more, and it's like, well, Jesse, isn't it at some point cause for reflection? So hopefully we'll do a Dojo Talks about that. I think that one of the other things that's really interesting about gender that I want to talk about, I haven't fleshed out my own thoughts, but let me just put it in my own like personal history. When I was a kid, I grew up in Santa Fe, which was one of the most homophobic places on the planet at that point, and just with like a Hispanic Catholic culture. And there was nobody at my high school that was out. So I didn't even know anybody growing up that was out as gay. It is a huge difference whether people come out as gay, because it doesn't become normalized until it happens, especially at like a subconscious level. Then when I was in Germany and Europe in the 90s, nobody was out, dude. Nobody. Not, and I was at various universities. Nobody was out. In the States, that was in the 90s. That was when everybody was coming out, especially at universities. Now, here's what I'm driving at. In the chess world, there are very few people who are out as gay people. And, you know, it was only like afterwards that people were like, oh yeah, so-and-so GM was actually gay. And you were like, what? I didn't even think about it, dude. I didn't even think about it. But at the time when they were playing, they weren't, you know, out. Now, chess is a worldwide culture, but at the same time, everybody kind of knows each other. So like, is there a chess culture that is like prohibiting people to come out or feeling like they can't come out? Maybe. Is it related to the women's issue stuff? It's gotta be. It's got to be. Is it different? Yes, but it's kind of in the same bucket. For example, I think there's a lot to say on it. I don't want to take up the whole graduate show talking about it. But anyways, fascinating subject. I have got my own issues, obviously, with it too, if I'm saying he all the time, right? So here we go. Let's go back. That's Dawson. And we've got, I have to click this bad boy. And then we got Sam F. 160 points, 67 points. Some activity. Let's click on this. Some activity here too. Okay, good. Hopefully we'll get some games. Let's click on the tactics. Beautiful, dude. Beautiful. Okay. And then puzzle survival. Endgame. Silman Endgame Part 3. There you go. Winning chess strategies. Okay, so not a lot of points, and maybe that means that this person is going to progress very quickly. And then we got 35 hours. Games and analysis. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of Sam's games here. We got one. Pop. All right, Sam is white. This just loses a pawn. Usual is 94. Okay, there you go. Boom. Okay. Boom. Trying to play natural developing moves. There you go. 95. Incorrect because you're moving a developed piece twice. Good. Doing great, dude. Doing great. See, I did it again. Dude. A dude has become, honestly, a little bit gender neutral, but still. Castle. Castle. C6. Good move. Not so much about b5, but because the knight on c3 now needs to find a different job. Okay, so here's an interesting moment. I think bishop e3 is mostly fine, but when we think about development, we should think about this move f4. Good move. And now we don't have to play f5. We can play queen f3. And the point of f4, let me just say it loud and proud, is to get the rook developed, right? And yes, you would want to check this variation. You would want to check that queen h4 does nothing because of h3, right? And next move, we can play the f5 move. We're not worried about knight f2 because we'll just pop on up. No problemos. And notice we're converging. We're doing some convergence on ye old f7 square. Okay, but bishop e3 wasn't wrong. Now here, what's interesting about knight g4 is we can develop our rook by playing h3 now. Because when they take, our rook will be opened. And Sam writes bishop d2 was better. Well, Bows, like I said, you want to open up that rook, and you could do so by just saying, please take my bishop. Now that's a dirty trick. That's a dirty trick. No dirty trick for you, thank you very much. Okay. You're doing great. Rook e1. Now, in my world, being up a pawn is a clear advantage. So I think, and a center pawn, it's extra special. Your bishop on c4 is a beast. You do need to fix your knight on c3. But okay. b5. Thank you. Queen e2. Okay. Bishop snippo. Queen snippo. Now, one thing is we want to fix the knight on c3. And boom, you did it. You did it. Great. I want to just say you should be proud of this move. Too often, even at a higher level than this, I see people not fixing their bad piece. So this is great. This is a really good sign. Also, because you have this beautiful extra center pawn, it's hard for black to do anything. Yeah. So I don't have any great advice. You write f5, maybe f5. You could do a variety of things on f5, though. You could probably just play knight e3. So here we go. Pop. Good move. Cheap threat. One move threat. That's right. Now, put yourself in black's shoes. Black doesn't know what to do. Black doesn't know what to do in this position. Great move. We're just building. Very good. And now they've got the choice. Do they want to keep the queens on or go into that sad endgame? I understand not wanting to do the endgame. Good. I just want to say, a lot of these moves are really good. Really good. You are just playing good, simple chess here. This is what we want to see. And why do they play rook a6? They're terrified of queen b6. As you write. Very good. And one of the things that's cool, too, about your annotations is you say rook a6, double question mark, plus minus. Now, for me, double question mark is like when it's like a game-ending event. Like you dropped some stuff. But what I appreciate about calling this a really bad move is the rook on a6 is now out of play. Now we open the position, and we're up a pawn and we're up a rook because that rook needs to come back. Beautiful. Looks okay to me, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm into this. You're playing great here. This is good chess. This is really good chess. Thank you. Thank you. Good. That ain't it. I'm just double checking here. Check the miserable king. This tempo provided by the check is important as it disallows black being able to push the a pawn, then taking white's pawn simultaneously. I see what you're saying. Okay, good. Good note. Good note. All right, so now we have a technically winning endgame. And this is a minor mistake to play f4 because now your king can get cut and black does it. Is it still winning? I think so, but now it's going to become a little bit harder. So just as a note, black will never be able to take because the pawn endgame's losing. So we don't have to worry about it. And we can just bring our king up, and then, we'll start pushing our business, building over here. Now it's going to be hard. King e6. Rook h2. Moving the rook from attack. And They write rook b2. If black wants to keep the rook on the second rank, only waiting moves are available. Oh, this is a different one. Let's just say, I'm not sure I understand all of these notes, but rook a2 would be the move to try here for black. It might not make that much of a difference as long as black eventually goes rook a2. What? What? What are you giving up all your coconuts for, son? That wasn't it. If you're going to go for it, you might as well go for it. You know, you might as well go for it. You can't be giving up all your coconuts. So pop. And here white wants to be a little careful because let's say here, I'm sure you're still winning, but it's a little bit annoying. A little bit annoying. Okay. So that was toast. By the way, let me just say, yeah, this would be an interesting position to analyze, either by yourself or with some of your cohort. And we ask, let's say we put the pawn here. It should be winning, but the obvious problem is that your rook is in the worst possible location, which is in front of the pawn. It'd be nicer if we were behind the pawn. If we're behind the pawn, then it's instantly winning. But as this pawn advances, this guy's right behind it. So it just becomes a technical task here that would be good to analyze out. Krabby Crab is here. Nice. Okay, so I think this is cooked. Let's take a look. That looks like queens. That looks like queens. Check to the miserable king. Checkmate. All right, beautiful. Sam, congratulations. Pop. 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 Now I got to go poppy, poppy. And this is Soroka, who has also been a graduate before, as I remember anyway. Most helpful for me personally was spending time on calculation. Beautiful. All right, let's take a look. 134-point gain. Next graduation may be coming up soon. Activity. End games. Oh, we're going to go with previous cohort. And there we see it, my friends. Lots of end game. Some tactics. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Symmetry. Good. That's great, dude. Okay. Time, basically, some people fill out their time, some people don't. Let's take a look. Games. We got one. Boom. So, this is going to be a lead chess game where we're able to follow the times here. And Soroka is black. SS has got to be, I think it's Steven Soroka? I don't know. Okay. Fine. Now, bishop e6 is definitely a little weird. Usual is either taking or knight b6. But it's technically a developing move, Jesse, so you're not allowed to say anything. I think the problem is that the bishop can get whacked with knight g5. So, but maybe it's not the end of the world. Let's take a look. Knight f3, bishop g7, and white castles. So knight g5 would be a question mark for, it looks annoying. Knight g5. Knight c3. Okay, bc is a thought, but knight e6 is also a thought. Knight e6. Knight d1. Knight d8. Knight b. What's going on? It looks like crispy critters, right? Because how do we prevent this bad boy from falling? Right? I think that's the problem then with this bishop e6 positioning. I wanted knight c6 without blocking the c pawn, but this move is costly in terms of time. Yeah. So knight g5, again, really hurts. Pop. And now it's a mistake, and now you're on top. Good move. Now you're on top. That isn't it. That isn't it. Okay. Now, at least they get frisky here and play knight d5. But is it really? It is not sufficient compensation. Now, you can do several things here. But you go for it and take the pawn. That's a little spicy for me, you know? I'm an old man. I'm not ready for the spice anymore. You know, I just want to keep it simple. So you could trade queens and then play knight a6. Such a thing would keep life simple. But you go for it. You want it all. You want it all. Yeah, it's frightening to me. So you might be winning here, but now you're just introducing some scary into my life. All right, here it comes. And we have to, face the whirlwind here. Bishop e3. Okay, yeah, so there's all kinds of drama to deal with. h3 could be annoying. Bishop e3 could be annoying. Queen b5 could be annoying. Yeah, all those things scare me. Bishop e3. Simple chess, okay. And now we can win a pawn. All right, so things haven't gone well. It'd be good to have some question marks to your moves, because obviously if white got this, we didn't want to be stealing the pawns earlier, right? Now our knight is poor. Now, obviously frisky, because black is like, I don't care if you could take my pawn on b2. I don't know. We could play rook c2 if we needed to. This happens. Can we take on b2? Maybe not. Let's look. Queen b3 maybe. Could be annoying. Looks annoying, Baus. Looks like you answered your own question. Knight c7. Rook d7. Okay, we got a problem. Okay, he's coming at you. Now, I don't know about b5's a thing or not. Oh, man, this is frightening. Too passive and too slow. Now, I agree with you, but you should ask yourself, well, what should dude have done? What should dude have done? There's some real tactical questions here. We can consider knight g5, for example. We can consider knight d2. We got a lot of different moves here for us to calculate. That's slow. That's slow. You're worried about your pawn, Baus. Why does bishop a7 work? I don't think bishop a7 work. No, right? Like, if he plays king h instead of bishop a7, you snip. And rook d8 isn't it. Maybe you're thinking there's a ghost bishop that can land on h6, but that bishop spent its life over here on a7. You know, we'll reach that point of the day where Kraai just like, he's sinking back into his chair. Okay, so here we go. So that's not a happy move for white. Now, maybe it's a little bit annoying to deal with rook c2, but on the other hand, white's got one good piece, and that's the rook over there. So there should be some questions about, like, well, Baus, is there any way that I can do something with the other pieces? Knight g5 suggests itself. Knight d2 suggests itself a little bit. I like knight g5 better. Rook c2, queen b3. It's getting a little hot. Knight d2. Boom. Yikes. So, white burned you here. And we need to mark knight e6 as a mistake if that's true, right? I still have one more question here. Queen A4, so sidelined and so sad. It's true. It's true. Okay. So here we need to be asking Bows, was this the mistake? And notice that what happened is it started getting freaky because you took the pawn. You took the pawn, Bows. And then the question needs to be asked, well, what should you have done? It's not an easy situation. The rook c2, actually. Like I believe you got to have something here, but it's truly not easy. So we need some more analysis. Bam! And I guess we're toast. But now white has at least a technical endgame to solve. Down on time and thought exchanging the queens would be easier to play. Okay. Oh, now this is cool because what we're seeing with TW here, I finally get it, is TW is Tony Wills here. Okay. Black says no. Okay. Okay. Good move. Look at that. Look at those. look at those circles, man. That's great. All right, white is completely winning. Oh, completely winning, and now it just needs to be a little careful about where to put the coconut. And this move maybe, but there's no need to allow a5. You can play either bishop b6 or bishop d2, prevent the pawns from ever moving again, and then go and do the execution. Good move. Good move. At least we're trying, you know? Thank you. At least we're trying. Okay. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. What happened here? Check to the miserable king. That's it, right? What's going on? Oh, look, there's dirty tricks. Look at this, my friends. Bam! Double fork. A snip and a fork. Holy pacholis. I didn't even see it at first. I was like, what's going on? Should be easy. No, not easy. Oh, man. You got to play bishop b6. Oh, no. Wow, look at this knight e6, Bows. This is where it fell apart. White played the natural move, king e4, thinking no problemo. And this was a dirty trick here, king f6. Because now, if knight e6 here, there was going to be bishop d5. Dude sees that. Man, oh man, dirty tricks. And here, that's the way to do it. But it's still not going to be 100%. That's probably the way. That's the easy way. This, all of a sudden, undermines the knight. Ooh, and when knight c5 comes, it's problems. So this happens. Man, I guess they are surviving here. Knight d4. You shall not pass. You shall not pass. Is it true? Okay. This does seem like a mistake fixing the pawns. We should note, though, what we think was the better move. Moves that come to mind are, for example, knight d3 looks good, right? Knight d3 looks strong. Okay, pop, that wasn't it. Now, is it still winning? It's going to get hot here. It's going to get hot. King c5. The heat is on. a3. King v5. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Boom! Oh, no. So, again, I want to stress, when you do these analyses, this is where you can really learn to play the endgame, because there's, like, first of all, actually, let's look at these people, how fast they're playing. One thing I just observed with my student, playing another fellow dojo member, is in these critical positions in the endgame, weren't thinking at all. So black is at least thinking. And white doesn't have any time, so you can't criticize white anymore. White got a time pressure, blew it, dude. Oh, man. Now, here's a question. Can white save this thing? We should want to believe that they can still save this thing. However, okay, so how would it go? It would go like this. 93. But then bows. How do you save your soul with A3? Oh man, it's hot. Maybe it's not savable anymore. We need to get our bishop to D5. But I don't think this is it, bows. Wait a sec. So A3, and here's some analysis. I'm very happy to see this as analysis. Knight A2, B4. But we could play now bishop D5. And on D3, we play bishop B3, D2. We're going to play king C4 next anyway, so I think you're going to have to... We can argue about king E5 in a second. It's still really hot. I don't think we can ever take that thing. I don't think we can ever... No, we can though, right? No, we cannot. We cannot take that thing. Wow, really interesting. Okay, so good analysis and then good holding on, dude. Wait, I felt like it was going to be easier than that. So this got taken and then this happened. And then bishop C3, the bishop E1 looks great. Bishop E1 looks like what we want. Okay, this happens. Now white has a chance to hold this thing. That wasn't it. We got to play king B3. Man, it's hot after king B3. Let me just say again. Let me stress: this is how you learn the end games. By the way, I'm gonna put a link. That was clever, by the way, just that last little bit. That was great. I'm going to put a link to a game. It was superb analysis. Superb. And I did do a show called the Hunt for the Model Games, so the best annotated games. I ran across this thing. No one had sent it to me. I was just looking in the 1900 to 2000 cohort. And my friends, I'm going to post this link in the chat. You can feel this person improving when you're reading their notes. It's like, oh, man, this is what we are talking about. Here, let me get this. As a link here. All right, I'm gonna post this in L chat, just so you get a sense. Maybe you're not even part of the training program. You can get a sense. Actually, maybe you're not allowed to access that little scoreboard link without the training program. But I'm just telling you, that game, that's what true progress is about. And, it just means like you start taking apart some of these variations, Okay, MG Weirdo, saw it. Okay, great. Let's go back. S. Soroka, doing well. Put your continent in. Okay. So, we got Ivan. $25-point gain. Chess.com Rapid. All right. Yeah, we got this. All right, so we got some work being done. Mostly endgame. All right. And that's fine. It looks like they don't have any other games. Okay. So, looking forward to seeing some games from Ivan later. He is in this 1900 cohort, which is very competitive. Very competitive, interesting cohort. And I think, by the way, when I look at this, This is around the time you should strongly consider moving from rapid being the thing you care about to over the board. You could do it before too, but especially here, if you want to make some progress, start thinking about those long games where you're sitting against some person, they're fighting and fighting. Okay, that is Ivan. I'm having some trouble organizing this, but I'm getting better at it. Next up, we have Kav. Okay, it's maybe also hard to say exactly what's going on. No comprendo. Because it might be a ghost graduation. Okay, so that's Kav. So then we got Alex. Boom. Alex has lost points. But the preferred is USCF. Good. They've lost points. I don't know. Let's see what's happening here. This might be looks like a ghost graduation. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, there's some stuff here I'm a little bit confused about. Let's check out Sad. We got some activity. Chess.com rating gain. Over here. Hard to say what's going on. Okay. Whew, my friends. I'm going to do one thing before, I'm going to actually do a couple things before I leave. First thing, I promise. What is a ghost graduation? Ghost graduation is when somebody is updating their profile and maybe they're new to the program, maybe they didn't know which cohort they were going to originally belong to, and so they don't have any work that they listed. Like here we have somebody listing 4 points. Before there was a couple of those graduations, nothing was listed at all, and they don't have any games. Right? So I can't tell what's going on, over there. Okay. Let me show you guys a couple of things I think are really cool. We go material. Look at that, bows. Look at that. Actually, I have to move my business over a little bit. How does this work, buddy? So it's just because it's on the other side. There we got our openings. Boom, 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 my friends. And it came up earlier because we were talking about, and someone mentioned in the graduation notes, how the sparring positions are key. And one of the things that we did, and we're fleshing this out as we go along, like more and more repertoires, but we realized, especially by looking at people's progress, is that for the opening study, you want a couple positions you understand, and the files should not be that long. You shouldn't be trying to memorize a gazillion things. And so, first of all, the thing we said, I'm really happy with this, is if you're under 1,200, you shouldn't be doing any openings. Nothing. And then for 12 to 18, it shouldn't be overly deep. And I just want to say for myself, I've been doing fine in my recent tournaments. My recent tournaments, I've had other problems. Openings were not the thing that I had. I was winning the opening battles, meaning that I came out of the opening in a position where I either knew what was going on more than my opponent or I was fine. That's not where it's decided. So even at my level, the openings aren't as significant as some people would lead you to believe. I was listening to a podcast with my old student, James Altucher, and he was talking about how he had to have a gazillion lines and yada, yada. And I was like, the delusion. And Chessable, it's kind of like what they did was they created a problem that wasn't there. They were like, you guys want to study openings? Well, we got some openings to give you. We got some openings to give you. You need to study these openings. Anyways, we got this really cool thing. Let me click on it around a little bit. David got his Najdorf up, and he's got model games. Themes. Oh, yeah, dude. He's calling it themes, and that's interesting, dude. Okay, this is slightly different than the way we did it. This is the first time I've seen this. But this is pretty good. I'm liking this, man. So these are like illustrative games, but there's also model games. Cool. Then we got, of course, the sparring positions. Nice. Very good. And then, of course, we got the file itself. Beautiful. Really well done. Okay. And then, of course, also fairly new. There's a video, of course. I did the Caro and the French, aggressive E4 repertoire. I still need to put that into a shorter form. And then Kostya's got his big old King's Indian defense. Oh, buddy, look at that. Look at that thing, Baus. Oh, no. That's a pretty good layout right there. That's a pretty good layout right there. He's got a nice haircut, huh? Cute kid. Cute kid, Kostya. Kostya, it's time for you to get the GM title, Baus. The time is a-slipping away. I'm a fan. I need to see some progress. Need to see some progress, son. Okay. All right, I'm going to do one last thing. I want to go look at this dude who did these games. So I thought you knew. We're gonna check out games, and he's only done two analyses, but I'm gonna try to find his other one. I saw he had another one. Thought you knew. And what was interesting about that one is he clearly had a really good sense of the position. Oh, now he's got a bunch. So apparently, I Thought You Knew is playing a lot of games against intentionally blank. Well, maybe that's the same game because there's a question mark there. Let's just try another one, though. There's Fat Hugo. We're going to click on one of these. Boom. So the question is, he had a really good sense. I Thought You Knew. Again, I'm assuming it's I don't know. They had a really clear sense of what they were doing in the last game. It was a Shevestnikov Sicilian. And it wasn't just the opening, but like the middle game plans and what was going on. It was really like, oh my God, this dude's going to be a GM. Again, I'm assuming it's a dude. I have no idea. And so I want to see like an example of some other games. Here, I Thought You Knew loses. So let's just give it I want to see then, what's going on, get a different taste of different position. Also see what the level, if the level of annotations is the same or similar. Okay, and then I'm out of here. Boom. And strangely enough, last time I Thought You Knew played knight f3, and with a big old open Sicilian, it did great. This is sometimes known as the Magnus Sicilian. Okay. The idea of this line is to punish black for early g6, and at the same time not having developed the knight to c6. It looks to me like a hyper-accelerated dragon. Okay, interesting. What's my memory of this thing? My memory of this is that this position is a little bit better for white. It's kind of forcing too. It's not the end of black's life, but it's just unpleasant. But okay, I Thought You Knew has their own ideas. And then h5, definitely a weird move. So h5 suggests that black is like just terrified of g4, has been burned in the past by g4, and does not want to see this move ever again. Good. 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 Now h4, I don't know. You don't have to. So one thing about playing against the dragon is you can play centrally with a move like knight cd5. And especially after h5 has been played, which seems unnecessary, that seems like the most logical thing to do. Not clear, unless we're going to play g4, I'm not clear we need this move h4. So notice what he did, what they did, is they wanted the same position that they knew and then couldn't imagine plans that weren't the older plans, right? But everybody does this, by the way. But here it's just an obvious thing for me because h4 is often met by h5, usually after g4, right? Right? But here, no necesito. No necesito. All right, anyways, queen a5. I don't like bishop e2 either. However, there is an interesting question here. Could we just flat out play g4 anyway? Maybe. Maybe we just play g4 anyway. It'd be interesting to analyze. Thematic. Okay, here we go. Rook fd8, no puedo entender, right? Black needs a better move than that. And the so-called natural move is usually to play knight e5. The bummer with knight e5, though, is then knight cd5 is annoying. So, for example, pop, pop, and you cannot play that because of that. Intermezzo. Still, black needs an idea. Black needs an idea, and I'll tell you, rook fd8 doesn't really do it. So, okay. Let's leave it for black to figure out what they should have done. And then what's interesting is white has played fairly quickly to get to this point and then spends forever in playing g4. Forever. 45 minutes. And so you ask yourself, how did dude lose the game? It's probably because of time. And another thing that's interesting about g4 is you just got to do it, right? I mean, there's no, it's not something you're going to be able to calculate out. It's something you're going to have to believe in. And I'll tell you what, I do believe it. Especially after a move like rook fd8. What are you doing, buddy, rook fd8? What are you doing? Okay, so g4, good move. I bet dude doesn't take. They took h5. Very good. Very good. Like I said, I think you could have done it even without bishop e2. And then gh5. This, to me, looked like the worst of all lines. Yeah. I looked at some mildly similar positions when I did the aggressive repertoire for white, according to the dojo. And these are just some black needs counterplay before this happens. It's one of the reasons I just don't believe in rook fd8. So there's the question of what's going on gf3. And there's some good analysis there. And then I would also be interested in, could black survive with g5? That would be my 2 cents of a question here. If I was going to be worried about something as white, I think maybe I'd be a little concerned with that move. Let's look what happened. Papos. Simple chess. Thank you. 94. This move to me looked to be like pure desperation by my opponent. Okay. Knight e4. Looks winning. Rook c2. Am I a little frightened? I'm a little frightened. I'm a little frightened. Okay. So then there's a discussion about whether white should play queen takes b4 or this a takes b4 move. Now, a takes b4 does look like it's winning. So let's just see for a second what the problem is. And then, yeah, what's the problem? ba5. Now, dude was afraid of something. Rook b2, king c1. Bishop a4. I did not see this move at a distance, but I have to say now it looks very, very scary. White kind of looks on the verge of mate, but this should be a sound position for white. Wow, okay, now it is. It's very hectic, dude. So we're going to say is if rook c8, we're believing, and it's probably true, that we're going to escape. So bishop a4. Haha, this is hot. It's hot. And let's see, we got bishop d3. Nice, the good little arrows. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Whew. Man. And one of the things that's interesting about that I was really impressed by the other annotation too was that the way I thought you knew plays, he's playing some hyper-aggressive chess. And it comes down to some ideas, a little bit of feel for the position, and then deep calculation. And one of the things that is happening here when he's going over, they are going over the games, is that you start getting better at it. And there's a certain kinds of positions you're getting better at. If you don't play open Sicilians and the full madness, you're not always going to get this stuff, right? You're not going to get a feel for the magic of this kind of thing, right? Okay, pop, pop. Now, what do I think about this position? I don't know. I have no idea what's happening here. Queen e5, good move, threatening. Okay, knight d3, of course. Queen d4. All right. Now, I think we could yell at the annotations here a little bit. Oh, yeah, look at the queen's being a real jerk. So we'd like to play rook h5, but no lo puedo because of this. Now, is bishop c3 truly the only move? So gf3 is, I suppose, the question mark. And also bishop f5 is on the horizon. Oh, wow, it's falling apart. Now, if we just count the body blows, for a second? And dude, you can see the time. In fact, let's look at that bishop takes d2, just the time for a second. So 18 minutes left, and then played bishop d2 basically instantly. So the assumption had to be that they were losing with, and probably saw bishop a4. And, you know, it's a hectic world over here. We are up 2 pieces, right? We're up 2 pieces. Yeah, so notice that rook h5, we have to deal with 2 things, rook c2 as well as rook c8. On rook c8, we got to play our knight c5 move. So maybe we don't like it. For example, pop, now rook c2. And if I go b1, they at least have a draw with rook b2. Is it true, though? Oh, okay, let's just move it over here, Bows. And then they, see, this is the thing. They take my knight and say taco. But I move over and say, what about that, Don Crocco? And we're up some pieces. We're up 1 piece, Kraai. It's still hectic. It's still hectic, my friends. Woo! Okay, so you can see how dude could be really frightened here. Yeah. Fascinating position. And then this one, now one thing that I'm a little upset with our game viewer is when I click next, I don't get a chess space thing where it shows me all of the potential moves. But okay, knight c5, dc5. And then this has truly got to be a win. But it's the level of fear would be high for myself as well. And not only that, but like c4. But then this is important. Bam! It's really important that we have a counter shot against the bishop undermining the position. Okay. So, am I trash talking tacos? ChessCom Day A. Vielen Dank. We're doing here the Chess Dojo training program. Sometimes I don't always look, and I know I should be looking. But you can see I got involved in this game with I Thought You Knew and Fat Hugo. Pretty good game. Yeah, I'm gonna feature this game too. Boom, I'm gonna feature this bad boy. Great game, great analysis. The other one was on another level, both in terms of the game itself and the notes, but this is really good. Notice that really he appreciated that the 45 minutes up top were what really destroyed him. And one of the things, the only thing I can say about this that is maybe helpful is the move g4 you'll never be able to calculate out all the way. And one thing to see about the move bishop e2 is it's you just being, you're like waiting. You're like, do I really want to do it? You got to do it, boss. You either play that or you play centrally. But if you were going to play centrally, then not h4. Notice that an old dude like me, if I play centrally, all those crazy tactics that we were talking about, probably not going to happen anymore. That's probably not. Probably we're just going to get a little bit more of a contained game now, right? Okay. My friends. Whew. Still going 2 hours later. Chess is rating 3,000 people. Oh my God. Thank you very much for the rate. Chess.com. We got ChessCom Day A rating us, also known as Deutschland. And then we got ChessCom rating us. And my friends, I just was showing this amazing game. And what we have here, let me just break this down. Chess Dojo training program, one of the amazing things that's happened is we set up a system where people submit their annotated games. Now, here's the thing. We knew when we began the program that annotating your own games was the key to improving. This was something we knew. Did we know, though, that people were going to get good at it? They were really going to go for it. It wasn't clear. Because it's hard work. It was not clear. Now we're getting people who are getting good at annotating their games. It's not just like you're a good player, so you do good annotations. No, it takes a while. You have to be a little bit self-reflective. You have to understand, like this dude, I thought you knew. I called him a dude again, boss. Might not be a dude. It might be, I'm sorry. Here we go. Like I thought you knew. Oh, it's me thinking forever on moves like bishop e2 and g4, spending 45 minutes that's killing me. Good rule of thumb is you think for more than 10 minutes, it's time to just force yourself to move. Just do it. Like here, boss, you're going to play knight cd5 or g4. It's an intuitive decision. In any case, that's the kind of self-knowledge that later, boom, you're going to make some real progress. So, my friends, boom, Magnus won, so we all went to you. Thank you, Raider. Let's look at one more. I want to see this. I thought you knew. I don't know why that's at a lower cohort. This might be somebody playing I thought you knew. Let's click this. First classical game for a long time. First one is part of the dojo. Ambition to have fun. Okay, maybe this is actually somebody playing I thought you knew. It looks like. Oh. So here we have a great example of the training program. Now we're going to see somebody playing against the dreaded I thought you knew. Now let me just say something. I wouldn't want to play I thought you knew. I definitely wouldn't play an open Sicilian against this person. No way. You played it against the wrong person, son. Oh no, this is why I thought you knew is so good at the Shevchnikov. This is their thing. Now, to be fair, this is probably not what I thought you knew wants in life. You know? I thought you knew this person wants to kill people, and now with the c4, at least you're going to slow the game down a little bit. Okay. Good move. Okay. I thought you knew. Knows. You can see they know what's going on here. They know what's going on. Dark squares, baby. Dark squares. And then we get some good annotations about bishop takes d4. A basic rule of thumb here is that it's going to be good compensation. And so what's cool about knight d4 from I thought you knew is just the knowledge that this is going to work out, right? Because you're going to free the bishop on g7, and the bishop on e3 is white's best piece by far. Okay, so white doesn't take it. Castles, good move. Black could have played knight h5 if they were afraid, but they're not afraid. Knight c3. Knight h5, okay. Rook c1, rook c8, queen d2. Now notice what white's doing is white is making a mistake of thinking they want to play bishop h6. They do not want to play bishop h6. That's black's bad bishop. The only time that bishop will be necessary or do something is if and when you take on d4. All right, black plays b5. We could consider f5 as well. There we go. Now we could maybe criticize I thought you knew, because it was like, Baus, Baus, did you want to play f5 or do you want to play b5? Which one is it? Knight e2, okay. And now we get a snip, snop, taking with the queen with the idea of a future infiltration to c6. And then we're talking about rook takes c1 instead. Yeah, okay. Very classical play from I thought you knew here. Yeah, and then this is horrendo. Yeah. I took as I didn't want to lose tempi defending my white bishop with the risk of losing the c file. Now it'd be good in terms of the notes if we got some knowledge about why it's wrong. And the reason is with all these pawns on light squares, Baus, you need to keep this dude alive. And when you take this thing, you free the beast. Oh no, and it's going to be a really angry beast. I'm going to just tell you guys right now, that thing is going to be really angry. You ever notice, like, when people get out of prison, don't let them out of prison, you know? Were they wrongfully in prison? Maybe. But that doesn't mean you should let them out, you know? They've been in there. They're not going to be the kind of people you want to hang out with, Baus. And that's the same thing with this bishop. Once that thing's out, it's angry, you know? And in particular, it's like that bishop didn't have access to all those dark squares, and now it does. And now it does, Baus. Oh, no. Queen f6. I think there's other moves too. But this person is just angry. Bishop e5, simple chess. Check to the miserable king. Snippos, hippos, dark squares. Look at this dark square. Oh, we're talking some real invasion here. This is death. So you don't want to mess with I thought you knew. I don't want to play I thought you knew. I don't play that person. I hope and if I do, am I going to play an open Sicilian against him? No way. I've had a lot of ex-cons, dude. Some poor piece of my opponent that I let out, and then it started bumping me over the head like little bunny foo-foo. Yeah, I've had business with that ex-con. Never again. I'm not talking to that person anymore. Big Bubba. Keep him locked up. That's right, man. Incarcerated forever. I'll tell you, look at this bishop. Look at that bishop back here. Now, see him? Oh, look how strong that bishop is. We go back here. That bishop's not talking. He's just in his cell, chilling. Just chilling. By the way, when we do annotations, it's a really good idea to say what we should have done instead. And boom, excellent move. And you could also end the annotation saying intending bishop f1. And then once bishop f1 happens, well, we can think about kicking the criminal away. I'm doing a lot of criminal talk today. In any case, this is good annotations, and you can see we now get this beautiful bishop f1 move. Correctamundo. Correctamundo. All right, my friends, that is it. That is a garbage bishop. Keep it there. That's right. All right, my friends, that was the graduation show. I'll be back here every Tuesday. I believe I'll be here next Tuesday. And then I'm going to play some tournaments myself. But I believe I'll be here next Tuesday. I'm pretty sure about that. Let's raid somebody.